see our friend Eric with the yellow badge and the striped jacket. He's one of our organisers.
Whether it was Rolls or Lanchester who solved that problem, isn't it? Have you been into that one?
Hello, nice to see you. Just entertaining, Eric with the straw hat and the red limousine has got an information package. Right. What's the camera? I mean, you can see them down lower shut. This passage is meant to
shall we do? That's for sure. My God.
We missed you yesterday.
it comes. What I need is a spare battery.
This is the address of management of the start time, you remember? Probably the
I'm Trevor Smith. I'm a head office man. It's been fascinating to see them come in. And the amazing thing is, in the Lanchester history,
Good morning, Deputy Lord Mayor, Lady Mayoress. Good morning, everyone. I'm Bruce Tanner, Chairman of the Birmingham Civic Society. Welcome to Spark Brook, where they've very kindly refreshed the roads for us this morning. And thank you all for joining us, particularly those, some of you who've come enormous distances. We're here today to unveil a plaque to commemorate the centenary of the Lanchester car, the first British petrol-driven four-wheel motor car. Now, Fred Lanchester, of course, made a huge contribution to the world motor industry, but his inventive thoughts went much further than that, beyond that, into manufacturing systems, avionics, and other areas. And as a scientific genius, he was a match for the great Birmingham scientists of 2 centuries ago, like Bolton and Watt. But his memory, Fred Lanchester's memory, has been neglected. And today we're trying to put that right. Now, after the unveiling, NBC Metal Powders, Trevor Smith is here, one of their main executives, their chief executive is here today. They are very kindly going to give us refreshments inside the factory. But now it is my very great pleasure to introduce Chris Clark, who is, of course, the driving force behind this magnificent rally and the leading authority on this great history. Chris Clark.
Well, thank you, Bruce Tanner. It's very kind of you. It's lovely to see so many people here, and I am glad that the rain, the freshening rain, hasn't held on. I'm very grateful for that. I'm very thankful to the owners, Manganese Bronze, for allowing us to come here and for their hospitality, most generous of them. The factory is very special. The factory was built in the 1850s by a BSA company, taken over by the Lanchester company. Fred bought this in 1899, and it was the home of all Lanchester cars up until 1931, when they were taken over by the BSA company, coincidentally. And every car pre-31 you can see here today, to the left and the right of us, came in parts by horse-drawn in the early days and by motor carriage in the later days, in parts through this archway, and when they left the works until 1931, every car came out of this archway. It's quite an evocative setting. It's a little change factory. It would be nice to see Lanchester written up there above the door, but we didn't want to go to too much trouble for 3/4 of an hour. But as you've seen already, for those who have been inside, it is little changed. The photographic sessions are a tremendous opportunity for you. We do hope you have a good time here. And once again, I thank Manganese Bronze for their kindness and generosity. And I would now like to present Dr. Trevor Smith, who is the contact person I've had and been most helpful, as well as John Cook, who's also helped me over many, many months. But may I now introduce Dr. Trevor Smith. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor, Mr. Tanner, Mr. Clark, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, it was very nice to be told I was going to get a new car this year, and I'm pleased to see such a wide selection. It gives NBC great pleasure to have a part in a centenary. These sort of events only come once in a lifetime of people, that is. Cars seem to last forever. The company, NBC, actually is now the biggest all-British car manufacturer. The holding company actually owns the company that makes London taxis. So while everyone else has been taken over, this remains the all-British company, the biggest all-British company. This means that we retain our interest in the car industry, we retain the longevity of the product, and I can rest assured that some of the powders that we make here will go into cars. They may end up with the name Honda on them, but it's still part of the tradition of serving the car industry. We have innovative ideas that are now going into Rover, and you'll be seeing more things with other people's name on, but the NBC knowledge behind it, making the things work. Anyway, let's forget the commercials. Saturday last week I had the pleasure of being in the Henry Ford Museum in Detroit. And as I walked down the line of vehicles, I came to one called Durier. I hope I'm saying that properly. The date on it was 1896. The date of the first Lanchester is December 1895. We beat them then, we can beat them again, using our entrepreneurial skills. Having said I come from a company that derives its income mostly from the automotive industry, we like people to buy new cars. And you're proving that some of these last too long. I trust that is a good advert rather than a poor business for us to be in. Anyway, we wish everyone every success. We hope your weekend is most enjoyable. For us, as being participants merely on the fringes, we've thoroughly enjoyed this. The last time I was involved in any form of centenary celebration was actually a bicentennial celebration. It wasn't as interesting or as sexy as this. You can't get much out of a sewer pipe, which is 200 years old. But nevertheless, we do like column inches. We do like people to appreciate that tradition is worthwhile, loyalty is worthwhile, and that the future is the way to go based on the history. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you here. Please come and take in the refreshments. I say I wish you all the best for the rest of the holiday period. And I say a holiday, it may be hard work for some of you, but I'm sure it's enjoyment for most of you. Thank you for coming, and have a successful weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Trevor Smith. I'm now going to invite the Lord Mayor's Deputy Councillor, Fred Chapman, to ask Stan Powers and Dennis Corbin to unveil the plaque. Now, Stan and Dennis worked here in the 1920s. I've had a long chat with Stan this morning, coming over with him from Sutton Coalfield, and he is enormously proud of the work that went on in this factory at that time, and I'm sure that Dennis feels the same way. So I'm going to ask Councillor Fred Chapman to invite them to unveil this plaque. Thank you.
It is my privilege on behalf of the city to invite Stan and Dennis to unveil the plaque, particularly in a week where we have had confirmed by national sources the strength and depth of the quality of work, the workforce of Birmingham. And it's a nice occasion to celebrate that, is it not? And these chaps started their apprenticeship, and it's nice to know that we're still first premier provincial city of the United Kingdom when manufacturing is concerned. Stan and Dennis, it's my privilege to invite you to unveil this plaque.
To the finest engineers the Lanchester boys, the three of them, Frederick, George and Frank. They were the finest men anybody could wish to work underneath. There was never a misword in the factory. Nobody ever grumbled about money, and all their motto was, the three engineers, was only the best will do, and they give us ample of time to make these cars. And 74 years ago, I was brought here on 8th of February 1921 to serve my apprenticeship, and 2 years sandwich course in connection with Suffolk Street Technical College to be a trained engineer. And I couldn't wish for any better men to work for them. It was lovely.
Everyone who worked with Lanchester was very, very happy, but they were all very good friends. Very little supervision was required. because everyone knew the job and they got on with it. In fact, there isn't any other employers that I've ever been with who have been like those. I hope you all enjoy this opening.
Lanchester governors, we
The plaque states on it, Birmingham Civic Society, the factory of the Lanchester brothers who built the first British motor car, 1895. So, and I'd like to particularly mention that Dennis has flown over specially from Jersey to be here on this occasion. Thank you, Dennis. So there will now be refreshments here in the factory by courtesy of MEC Helpadas. And thank you again for joining us here today. Thank you.
I mean, half of it's coming from other cars, so you'll start up, they're all a bit rich. Down Golden Gate Road.
It fits in. Yeah.
Well, we're standing outside the former home of George Lanchester, and standing next to me, very attractive young lady, Kirsten Lanchester, who's here to unveil a plaque which will then be mounted on the front of the house to commemorate this, hopefully forevermore. Kirsten, would you like to say a few words and unveil the plaque?
Right. I feel very privileged to be here today. I've come in place of my mother, who unfortunately wasn't well enough to come, and she's very disappointed. My recollections of my grandfather were as a young child when he lived with us near Chichester in West Sussex, and I also remember when he used to take me shopping in the car that he bought while we were there. It was a little BMW, and I set a bubble car, and I can remember as a child climbing in from the front and going to the shops, and it might not have been characteristic of the type of car he'd been used to driving, but he was fascinated by the mechanics. It gives me great pleasure to unveil this.
That's why I'm hanging about. It's a very interesting house. But I haven't been here since.
We're outside Dr. Frederick Lanchester's house, and we're very pleased and honoured to have with us today the grandnephew and grandniece of Frederick, John Bingaman and Mrs. Doon Frey, who've travelled up from Chichester especially to be with us here this morning. John, I gather you'd like to say a few words to the assembled crowd, and then I'll ask you to unveil, together with your sister, the plaque in commemoration. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a great honour for my sister and myself to be invited to unveil the plaque in memory of Dr. Fred Lanchester's home. He was a lovely man to have as an uncle. He had a very soft spot for children, And I can remember my visits to this house in the 1940s to see Uncle and Aunt Dorothy. If I remember correctly, there was 3 wooden cars in the garage, which is no longer there, but would have been just behind me on my right. And in it were 3 wooden cars. And they were very dusty, but they were great fun for a young boy to investigate. My sister has another story which she wishes to tell you before we pull the spring. So I'll now ask my sister to step forward and also say a few words.
Thank you, John. A very quick anecdote. It was, in fact, when I accompanied my brother, my mother, Marjorie Bingaman, that was Frank Lanchester's elder daughter, brought us both to visit Great Uncle, and of course it was a pleasure because he loved children. As I'm sure most of you know, he didn't have any himself. Well, there was I, aged 8, and sitting on his lap, and he sported a very square beard at the time, and I calmly plaited half his beard. And we left, and Aunt told us afterwards that, you know, he went to visit a neighbour and half his beard was still plaited. So now, with my brother, I have great pleasure, we have great pleasure in unveiling the plaque.
Is the wig a fabric wig?
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you had to change it at all?
I suppose you probably would do like every whatever, but I mean there's...
Your fuel on the corners pouring out of the top because of the exhaust proximity.
Your fuel is pouring out
of the filler neck.
So the filler neck. So it's spraying, might be spraying on your exhaust. Might need tightening up.
Yes, I get you.
breaking off their journey in Heartland and in this new park.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honour to be here today to commemorate the manufacture of the first British motor car, the Lanchester, which was made by my uncle Fred Lanchester, my father Frank, and my other uncle George. I have happy and vivid memories of them all. It is marvellous to see today so many Lanchester cars, which span some 60 years production. I congratulate all their owners for the loving care lavished on them and for maintaining a living tribute to the name, and some have come from Australia and India. These cars epitomize all the creativity and engineering of my uncle and his brothers in 1895. Many of Fred's pioneering ideas became commonplace in later years. It is very appropriate that the name Lanchester should be commemorated on this site where the first cars were made. It is therefore with much pride and pleasure that I now unveil this monument to the first British car, the Lanchester.
Come on, Mrs. Fox.
Have a little something for you. Angela? Thank you very much.
Well, we've had a real time.
Morning.
Morning.
conscious.
Just.
Journey over to Coventry. We're going to have a police escort as far as Stonebridge flyover, and then they're going to leave us. We're on our own then to Coombe Abbey.
We'll be all right, will we?
Well, I hope so. So that means you have to stop at roundabouts at the red light.
Oh, shit!
That's unfair.
You should all have a map showing you the way to go. When you get there, we don't want to be there before 11:30. Shakespeare Run is coming out, and the last car doesn't come out of there till just after 11:15, and we don't want to be going in when they're coming out.
Why not?
It will cause more chaos than we've already had. You must have a rally number on the car, otherwise the marshals on the gate might say you can't go in.
On the front.
Well, on the front somewhere so they can see it, that's right. Okay?
One more
Has anybody got any oil?
Yes.
The gentleman there is desperate for oil. Okay?
Is that? I can't remember which one it's called. It's the one that's like water, doing 5 quid's worth in a little bottle. Yeah. But yeah, it worked very well. Oh, you need to degrease it well though. That'll be the hard thing. Otherwise it won't take.
Where's the propeller?
Oh, where's the propeller? Which with a jack round here.
Little hydraulic jack in there.
Granddad, I want to have a look at these.
Hold on.
Oh.
Everybody's gotta learn
Yeah, they go there that way now.
Anyway, we'll get to that one there. Truffle 4 is 8.
Well, I have on truck.
What, on the back there?
Nothing on the cars.
What's that, on the actual, the drive to it?
Yeah, on the prop shaft where
yeah.
it goes into the back for slightly less, hadn't you? So I wrote back, well at
The guy said to me, he said anybody could have it.
So I would discount this. I would discount it. I would go straight to the charging main charger.
Right. And you know the bike mounts for the kids, the night rider ones? He actually designed those. And look at him
It's the most famous aerobatic machine in the world. 260 brake horsepower engine. Very light aircraft indeed. Like these pits, has a 9-litre flat six. He's pulling about 7G. A push 5G. Up and down and pull down at 1G. So if you like to multiply that by 7 times, then G is what he's getting on his body, the force he's getting on his body. Please away, ladies and gentlemen.
They're all lady birds, female.
So exotic, at 220 they were, every other newspaper.
We're all here at long, long last. Righto, we're in Coventry. It was a very nice event today. Now the Coventry Museum, which is the museum, the largest collection of, let's get this right, British road transports anywhere in the world. You'll be free to look around the museum, see the videos, see the shows. There's ever such a lot to see. There are coffee stations around the museum. Is that right? One up, one down?
I'm not sure about that.
Oh, well, there might be. If there aren't, you come back in.
Catering manager.
But there's an awful lot to see and hope you enjoy it.
24.
There was
you
a
didn't actually
team.
build it then?
Hmm?
You didn't build it?
Oh, no, I didn't. There's a accumulator box on the side that I might have done.
Mm-hmm.
The odds are that it is. Oh, no. I wasn't that old. Senior trained. I was like an apprentice there, you see. I can tell you the names of the two coach builders that built it. Bert Bassey and Les Dowler were the two coach builders that built that. I can remember this even now, and we're talking about over 65 years ago.
That's lovely.
Yesterday he came.
So it brings back a lot of memories.
Oh, I was thinking this morning in bed, I got all the shop laid out in front of me and all the...
Were you there Saturday when we went in?
No. Unfortunately, I should have liked to gone into Montgomery Street. I could have shown you exactly where things... It wasn't built at Montgomery Street. That was built at Fellers Road.
Yeah.
Because they moved from Montgomery Street to Fellers Road.
They moved from Montgomery Street to
Yes.
Fellers Road.
Technical or something, wasn't it, down there?
The what?
The technical area, wasn't it, down
Where
there?
the Montgomery Street?
Yeah.
That was what the BSA wanted. They wanted the engineering side of it. They got a very big engineering plant on one half of the building. And in effect, the body shop and so forth only come there as a temporary stop because they'd come from Foreman's Road. They used part of the factory for that. Well, then they got these premises in Fellers Road, which wasn't too far away, and the repair shop and the body shop all moved there. The mill, sawmill, and everything all moved there. The sawmill hadn't gone to Montgomery Street because that was still outside, because they had to get all the equipment. But all the lot was there when they got to Fellers Road. Then I'm amazed that I can remember it all.
Yeah. Well, happy memories stay.
Well, they were to a degree, yes. Yeah. They all tell you, that this was for the servants.
Yes.
Got off and opened the door and so forth, but we understood it was for the gentleman with his rifle as a guard.
Very good.
What year, Steve?
24.
24.
Yeah. He was there in the factory.
Okay.
Yes. First, if the Maharaja had in mind to drive by himself, what he could, the chauffeur was not allowed to sit beside to him. So the chauffeur had to go out and sit on the saddle. That is one idea that is in the book from Chris book. And the other idea is that there was sitting somebody to keep the way free with a stick.
His children are all here.
But I've never seen so many Lanchesters together before.
Even from Norway.
And we've just been up in the library and seeing these volumes of all the Lanchester produced. Yes, I didn't know that existed.
We used to have some of them on permanent display.
Yes.
We really need to look after them because they're treasured.
Yes.
And
there's car after car.
But also the jottings. There's sort of Leonardo type of sketches and little calculations in the margin. It's quite extraordinary. John Fletcher was just sneaking by there.
Good morning, John. We've been at your library and we've done a few identifications for you. Bristol, they're going to send us, and we'll have a committee at home and see if we can come up with the actual record.
We have, as many of you will have seen today, and I hope will come back to see again, a wonderful collection of Lanchester memorabilia and artifacts. A really wonderful collection, and I think we can all thank John Fletcher, former librarian of this institution, for putting together and helping to create and maintain that wonderful collection. That collection is kept in the Lanchester Library. Our art gallery is the Lanchester Gallery. And even more recently, when we established a new restaurant, that became the Lanchester Restaurant. all the crockery, the tableware, the cutlery and so on bear not only the name of Lanchester, but they bear that name in the original accurate depiction as it is in front of us today. And it's in that wonderful style that denotes quality, flair, inspiration, strength, all the qualities that we associate with the name of Lanchester. More recently, the university itself has become the proud owner of the Lanchester EHP 130 that's in front of me here. It's a fairly well-kept secret that we have another one in a garage that's being worked on by staff in their own time, putting together and trying to recreate yet another Lanchester to take the road. We're also extremely pleased to be ourselves publishing the Lanchester Legacy series, the book series that Chris Clark here and John Fletcher, our former librarian, as I've said, and others have worked so hard and with enormous commitment to bring about. I'm sure you've all bought a number of copies already. They'll make marvellous presents at Christmas and at any other time for anyone that really loves fine things. And we all, being lovers of Lanchester, love fine things. So I'm sure you will not only have bought several copies of Volume 1, but you will shortly be putting in your advanced orders for Volumes 2 and 3 that aren't that far down the track. They will be a magnificent collection, not rivaling the collection we have in front of us, of course, but magnificent in their own right. It's now my very great pleasure to ask the Very Reverend John Petty, the Provost of Coventry, can't forget the word Coventry Cathedral, to speak to you.
Lord Mayor, Lady Mayoress, Vice Chancellor, Chris, family, friends. I was told before coming here that it's my duty to think on my feet. However much I might have prepared things here, I was confronted with a particular request by Chris Clark just as I arrived here. And so if I may say in a moment, after these few words, I'll say a prayer, and then I'm going to issue an invitation, which was his idea, and if there are television cameras around, get them whirring then, because it will be quite an interesting item of this morning. I was at Sandhurst, and at the passing out parade, we all very smartly, in step, in uniform, went up the steps of the old college, a vast college, in front of the biggest parade ground in Sandhurst itself. Following us up those steps came the adjutant who drilled us for a year and a half there, but he came up on a horse. That was a tradition that had been followed for hundreds of years. It happened before any car like this was built, but now Chris has thrown down the glove, as it were. We have here the oldest running Lanchester, the 1901, just to my right here, and Chris has asked after this ceremony if we might try the Lanchester going up the steps, those magnificent steps designed by Sir Basil Spence, up into the cathedral canopy. So I warmly accept that invitation, that glove thrown down in challenge, and I say all the very best. May it work, Chris. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Provost. It's now my pleasure again to invite someone to speak to you, and it's none other than your own Chris Clark.
Well, I hope my speech makes sense to the people of Coventry who have come to see us today. I'm sure the rest of you might be getting bored with my voice. I have to say, as the organiser of this Lanchester Centenary rally, that I must respond to the previous speeches and give my wholehearted thanks for the support and encouragement that they have given me and us to make this event possible. I know it's a joy for all the owners from all over the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Norway,
We have owners from Australia, India, and Mr. Takeda also maybe receives a special mention here. He's brought his family over from Japan. Thank you, Mr. Takeda over there. We're all delighted to be in this lovely city, marvellous setting. It couldn't be better. The weather's obviously appropriate for the occasion. And we're here to celebrate Britain's first four-wheel petrol car. And I think the attendance of cars has proved worthwhile. I have to say that my great thanks for all this. It's been a long time organising this event. And my very greatest thanks extend to the Lord and Lady Mayor of Coventry, the Provost of Coventry Cathedral, thank you. I must say Barry Littlewood, Malcolm Oliver over there for their massive help in helping me organise this event. But maybe special thanks again go to someone who's given me a great deal of support and encouragement in my many different aspects of Lanchester work. I suppose I'm a Lanchester nutter really, but special thanks goes to the Vice-Chancellor, Mike Goldstein. Thank you. It is at this point, it's easy to forget the people who are never mentioned, ever. Only when there's some bad publicity, that is. All the fellows out there looking after our cars now and missing all this fun up this end, thank you very much to the West Midlands Police. Thank you very much indeed over there. And to the traffic wardens who are still looking after our cars for us. And on that point, my very special thanks go to Sergeant Mick Sharp and PC Andy Mundy. Thank you. We do have another little treat in store. For every Lanchester person knows this, but for the people of Coventry who are here to see us, and our special people on the rostrum here, we have what was classed by many as the finest car in the world, a Lanchester 40 horsepower Tourer, which will soon pull up, although he doesn't know it yet, it will soon pull up directly in front of the steps. Thank you, Jeremy, wherever you are. And we are going to show our dignitaries from Coventry here just what it's like to travel in what is regarded by many as the finest car in the world. That although we are now going to try and get the car up the steps of Coventry University, the Lanchester brothers, the intrepid brothers, also took the car up the steps of Lincoln Cathedral. They were normally very well planned on this, obviously not so on this occasion, because when they got to the top they couldn't get down again. There was no way.
There is a way out, the other way.
Thank you. So I would like to close just before Graham drives the car up, tries to drive the car, we don't know what's going to happen, drives the car up the steps of the Coventry Cathedral, following on from our quick Le Mans type blast down Priory Street for our dignitaries here, and my final words are thank you all very much indeed.
letters making letters. I thought we weren't going to make it. It was just the final sort of 3 steps I thought was a bit pressed actually. You were praying for me. You were with me. Very good indeed. A great testament. Housing through so much. I mean, to Lanchester, to the city, to industry and everything else. We've done that. Very great people. Thank you very much indeed.
And missed it. Could you have a...
That was his original registration, was it?
Yes, that's the Birmingham number.
When was that? I mean, back
well,
when it... Were they originally registered in 1904?
Yes.
Was that when they started?
That's when they had to start. Prior to that, they had no numbers.
Yes. When did the letters come in? Because I've seen one for sort of A3.
Well, the O is the letter.
Oh, the O is the letter.
Yeah, it's not the 0.
Is that the 166 after Birmingham?
The 166 registered in Birmingham.
Where I'd be interested in other cities, what were the letters? Was London A?
London was A, yes.
I'm surprised Birmingham wasn't B, but maybe it wasn't the city it is now.
Someone else pitched the B.
Yeah. I wonder what...
Alex is a bit nice. Excuse me. And I know him. And if you haven't got enough pictures of him, then we
For the next few days. So it's been intention this approach.
Mike, I know it's a shake hand. Thank you very much again.
And thank you.
I reckon if we move out of the way and let the traffic flow in, then you should be able to join on.
You didn't know we were coming? No, I didn't.
No chance of me turning there.
Oh yes, it's very good. I'm with you, Mr. William. No?
My ex-boss is doing quite a useful job for once. Chris, thanks. It was a wonderful weekend and we've all thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, what better presentation could I have? Thank you very
Behind every great man, there is the driving force. In this case, most of us know the great man, Chris. Most of us have lived with him, or worked with him, or talked with him for short periods, an hour, half a day, a day. It's like being with a volcano, isn't it? Lynn has him all the time. Lynn, you have my deepest sympathies. You also have my congratulations. Why you haven't put a hatchet through his head years ago, I will never understand.
Absolutely everybody.
Well, the secretive lot. I'm staggered. It's so kind of you all. It's taken 4 years to do this, and the idea, as long as everyone has a good time, it's all worthwhile. So I assume you have. So thank you very much. I just want to say, how did you get a straight 8 engine in this little box?
We're experts.
Am I to open this?
Yes?
Yes.
Tip behind.
More bubble stuff falling away, Lynn. Now hang on, just get rid of the rest of the bubble stuff. You must look at it properly.
It's Frank Lanchester's dog. You all see this? And it has an inscription on the collar. Lanchester. Right. I welcome Mr. Shaler again.
Well, thanks very much. Did you enjoy the factory? Yes. Now, isn't that the factory that the Lanchester brothers would love to have created 100 years ago? We're very proud of the factory, actually. We think we've got a fantastic facility here, but most importantly, we have great people. And it is, of course, the people who make the product rather than vice versa. And we are just delighted with the response that we all have to visitors. And I'm sure you noticed they loved you coming around, and particularly people who love cars. All of our guys love talking to people who love cars, because one of the reasons we all work here is because we are serious in our passion for cars. And I can't ever talk to a group of enthusiasts without saying that we all are enthusiastic about the same thing, and I think that's great. Long may it last. Thank you for being with us. Thank you to Chris for having, as a labour of love, I know, organised it. I'd also like to say something about Chris's book. I think it's a fantastic book. I learnt more from the book than, dare I say it, I ever thought I would learn. I learnt more about the history of the industry I've been working in for 29 years, I'm whispering very softly, than I ever thought could be possible. And I'd like to thank Chris for educating me. I'd like to thank him for having organised this centenary meeting of automobile lovers. I'd like to wish you all the very best of luck on your way home in the fashion that a Lanchester deserves. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Shea. Very kind of you, especially about the book. That was a 20 years long. Thank you very much indeed. We're very grateful to Mr. Shaler. I know each and every one of us thanks him. We've had a fabulous day. We left Coventry City with a police escort, a tour around your Radford works, very evocative for us post-31 Lanchester owners as well as the earlier cars. Lovely to see where all the cars were made. I know everyone was looking in the doors, wondering if that's where their car emerged from. And then this marvellous buffet meal you've provided, beautifully laid out. Thank you very much indeed. The tour was excellent. In fact, all you've done for us, we're very grateful indeed. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
I suppose in your line of work there are wonderful gifts you're given, but can anything be better than a Lanchester Centenary rally?
Well, thanks very much, Chris. I'm seldom lost for words. I really appreciate it. I think it's wonderful.
Now, you know I said about my brother getting a chocolate bar with the children. He just presented me with a bottle for the chairman and chief executive of Jaguar. Hasn't got a label. Who said we were organised on this
It's commemorative 100-year-old wine. I just looked for the Chinese egg.
It's good vintage stuff. It was finished Friday about an hour before.
Thanks very much, Chris. Thanks very much. Good luck to everybody.
I'm always going to treasure the gathering of cars at Centenary Square on Friday afternoon. You know, we all love Lanchesters, but see them coming in from all over Europe and the UK, I thought it was tremendous. I couldn't believe it. And there were a few that died on the way and never made it. It was a wonderful scene. Birmingham was a busy day, wasn't it, on the Saturday? A Sparkbrook factory with its plaque and going under the arch. Manfred trying to get his 40 horse in there. Tremendously evocative getting in that factory. It's a wonderful thing. And then the monument, George and Fred's house, the plaques rather there, and the monument in the afternoon, Mrs. Mobbs travelling up for the hour just for that event from Buckinghamshire, and that tremendous monument which looks as if it should be driven away somewhere, and the kids clambering all over it after that 10 seconds of its unveiling. The civic reception was pretty good as well, wasn't it? I don't think I didn't drink too much, so I stayed upstanding, didn't I? But it was very good. And then today in Coventry, the police escort, again, West Midlands Police, escorting through to the city centre with the Provost, the Mayor, Lady Mayoress, and the Vice-Chancellor. Jeremy's riding a 40 horse up Priory Street. They loved it. They said they often get into a position where they're taken so seriously nothing happens. They thought it was tremendous. What do I say about our intrepid step climber? I think we're on BBC television tonight. And we end up at Jaguars. Marvellous setting, as I said to Mr. Shaler, tremendously exciting way to finish the whole 4-day event, really. And I'm very grateful that everything's worked out so well. This is me being organised. I've got more pages. I have to say that The turnout is tremendous. I'm so upset, well not upset, disappointed for the owners. We lost a few on the way. Ravi Kumar's here from India. I know he and I have been trying for a year or so to get his car here. It's straight 8. He finished specially for the rally, and in the end, apart from, even with letters from the British to the British Embassy and the consulate, he couldn't bring it out. Although he would have done for the rally, ship it here specially. There's so many other people. Tim Matthews brought his 1904 and it failed him in the hotel. The Maharaja's car in 1912 didn't quite make it. So, disappointed for the owners, but a marvellous collection. In fact, it's a world record number of Lanchesters, since they were made, of course. Since they've been out of the production factory, no one has seen as many as this in one position. Which brings us really to the democratic voting for the Lanchester Awards. These are probably the most important of all the ones we've ever done, because there's so many people, so many authoritative and expert Lanchester owners here. We've got a record attendance of Lanchester 10s, 14s, LD 10s. There's so many, 18 horsepowers, and we've even got the last Lanchester produced, the Sprite. Very difficult task. But the choice is one I would heartily endorse. It's a fantastic car. It happens to have just crept in on the date. We have a prize here. Kind donation from a Lanchester fancier who's not with us. It's sort of eye-catching. I don't mind. Anyone got sunglasses? It might reflect in the light a little.
It's eye-catching.
It's eye-catching, that trophy. It's a trophy which we're presenting. A bit wobbly, but it will fix. It needs, we haven't got a spanner. It will, that's, we just don't have a spanner. It's in perfect working order. It's a trophy for the best. God. For the best post-war Lanchester you have deemed to be the best at the event. And I'd like to call upon Bob Goodall and his 1518. Well, Bob Goodall would do. We don't need the car in here. Thank you, Bob. There you are.
Oh, I'm very honoured to receive this, to be chosen among so many cars. I really appreciate this. Thank you very much.
It's got a commemorative thingy on it, which is standing straight. Thank you very much indeed, then, Bob.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We're going to do the same now for the pre-31s, the Birmingham-built cars. As I've said before, record attendance. Have we ever seen so many twins, 21s, 30s? I mean, the number of 40 horsepowers, it's just fantastic. I can't believe the attendance of cars. Makes it extremely special, of course. This has been going 10 years now, since it was first donated by my good friends Tim and Catherine Matthews, in the shape of the Lanchester radiator, of course. And it says on the top, first presented by Mrs. George Lanchester. It's a wonderful thing to win. Bobby McIntyre, the first one, now deceased. Trafford Matthews, Losse Ors, who, do you remember, just left for Norway. Geoffrey Rutter, who had to go home earlier. Derek Bonham, who's still here. Ian Maxwell, Jane Hutton-Stott, Trafford again. Oh. Mike Stanton, and lastly Don Abbey of last year, and I'm so grateful you remembered to bring it back, Don. So, I've just looked at the piece of paper I was given, and I obviously I can remember what's on it. I had no vote in this at all, because I haven't had time to look at the cars properly. You voted for it, and I happen to say it's one I most heartily endorse. Dare I say that if I could have any Lanchester here, and I've got a few, I suppose really I'd have to choose this one. It's going to someone who's done so much for Lanchester. Everyone's done their bit for Lanchester, but possibly this fellow has done so, maybe a little bit more than most. He's a real out-and-out Lanchester enthusiast, and I'd like to present this shield to the owner of the 1907 Lanchester, the 20 horsepower Landaulet, which was finished, I think, Wednesday or so, to Graham Pilmore Bedford.
Thank you all very much for voting for the car. But mainly I would like to actually thank Chris for all the hard work that he has put into organising this rally. I know, to me, he's certainly been talking about it for 2, 3, 4 years. How long is it, Chris?
Something like that.
I know. And really, I've enjoyed it. And I know that a lot of people here will have.
That's good.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Pleasure. But we're here to thank you, Graham, and it's a wonderful prize. And if you ever want to get rid of your car, please let me know.
Thank you very much.
There. Furthest distance travelled prize. Difficult one, this. We've got them from everywhere. But the prize just, I say just, goes to a fellow who's got a wonderful machine, wonderful car. Manfred Dolleschall, with his 40 horsepower, brought it over from Germany. Thank you, Manfred. You can open it if you wish.
Can I open it if I wish?
Yes, I should. You open it now. Go on, just rip it open.
Yes, I do that. I hurry up. I don't forget to see. The most thing I appreciated was those wild runs after those police bikes. Wonderful.
Oh, it's well wrapped, isn't it? Sorry about that.
Aha.
Hold it up. Rip the cover off and hold it up.
Look. That's it.
Right, I know who I've forgotten. My dear wife. No problem.